Well, here it is, June 21st, Father's Day. Got your father something yet? A card? A present? It's not too late yet, you know. You can always go hand make him a card because handmade cards are just as good and maybe sometimes better than those ones that you buy at the store. June 21st, it's kind of also a little special for me because 50 years ago, June 21st, Father's Day, I went out on my first date with my wife to be, Linda. Yes. And we were married later on, 39 years before I lost her. And I know I've told some of you about that, but uh, those of you who are always wondering why I'm wearing this earring in my ear, that diamond is from the engagement ring that I gave to her the night I asked her to share her life with me. And so, if you didn't know, now you do. This morning, we're going to be concentrating on serving the Lord with purpose. Good day. The weekend of June 21st, 2020. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Yesterday's gone and tomorrow's not here. Praise God for everything we now hold dear. Hey, good morning. Another week of God's grace. Today's lesson is about the Spirit, and specifically spiritual gifts and their purpose. Right now, I direct you to the first video entitled Family That Served. So let's go to that right now and watch how this family serves the Lord and others.
My name's Carrie,
And I'm Matt.
and as a family, we do a lot of service ministry with our outreach with our children, who are, our oldest is 8, his name's Cooper. We have 6-year-old twins, Eli and Emery, and we have a 2-year-old named Lila Jane. We've done Vacation Bible School in the projects a couple of years, and they also go down to downtown and to some of the project areas to help feed the homeless people.
Kind of what we try to do is, a lot of folks, church folks will say, hey, why don't you come to our church and come to our program and come be a part of our thing. So what we kind of try to do is take the church and the programming that we do within the church to their neighborhood. Basically what the big yellow truck is church on wheels. Pulls up into a neighborhood and we've got a loud siren on it and just kind of blow the horn and let everybody know, hey, we're in your neighborhood, and they know where to come. We send out teams to kind of knock on doors and let people know, hey, the big yellow truck's here. We're about to have church.
I need all boys and girls, parents alike. Let's all bow our heads and close our eyes. Gary's going to lead us in prayer. Come on, Gary.
We're going to have Sunday school, and we're going to have fun. We're going to sing songs. We're going to tell you about Jesus a little bit.
Okay, so count 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
I just pray and make new friends, and just play with everybody and cheer them up, make sure they're having a lot of fun.
For the most part, what it looks like is they throw the football around with the kids before and after. They blow bubbles, they run, hula hoop, just kind of have fun and really just being kids. What we decided to do is we said we'll commit to doing something once every other month. From there, it went to once a month. And from there it went to twice a month, and now we're in the neighborhoods at least 2 or 3 times a week. Not everybody has a roof over their head every night. Not everybody knows that, hey, I'm gonna have breakfast when I wake up in the morning.
Okay, here we go. Everybody, let's pray over our neighborhood and ask for God's safety. Is that okay? Yes! All right, here we go.
As a family, we share the love of Jesus with people. We have the opportunity to just be Christ-like. A couple weeks ago, they were done handing out food. It was Thanksgiving Day. We had tons of food to give out. We went down there, and sure enough, there was, homeless people. It's
They don't
no
have
different.
houses on
Yeah.
Thanksgiving either.
So they were all down there, and there was a guy that probably most people would really have looked past, probably avoided in a lot of ways. And Emery just gave this guy a big hug. And you could tell it just made his day. Kids are so willing to love everybody. She just didn't even care that he stunk. She didn't care that the way that he was dressed or how he was talking. She just knew that, you know, he needed a hug.
I think that it's important for us to realize that we can draw greatness from within our kids because it's there.
Jesus tells you to do it, and it makes everyone really happy.
Yeah, and it's not about the job they do. It's about
Right.
the people that they become. And I think they're becoming, of course we think because we're their parents, but we think they're becoming really great, selfless people because of the service opportunities that they have.
Well, wasn't that a nice video? Wasn't that something? The entire family was doing something to serve. Not just mom and dad, but the kids were helping too to support the many neighborhoods that they went to with the food for their stomachs and also food for their souls. That was very important too. And it sure looked to me like it wasn't a lot of work, that it was more fun on their part, but I'm sure it did take a lot of work to do it anyway. We too are called by the Spirit, using our own efforts to tell others about God's grace for them. Maybe we don't have a truck like they had in the video, but we have ourselves, and we can also serve. How could you serve? Well, maybe when you're a little older, maybe not just quite yet, you'll be asked to acolyte and light the candles in the front of the church. That's something you can do, and it's very important that you do that. It's also very important that you're responsible and show up when it's your turn, because if you don't, then somebody else gets stuck doing it. We can also help by handing out bulletins, or maybe ushering, or passing the collection plate, or when we're allowed to do that again, and maybe helping in the kitchen, putting the donuts out in the morning. That's pretty important, right? Yeah, so there's a lot of ways we can help just around the church, let alone around our house. Around our house, of course, we've got lots of things there we can help mom and dad do, with washing the dishes without complaining, or loading the dishwasher if you have one. Or maybe taking the clothes, putting the clothes in the washing machine or into the dryer and taking them out, or maybe folding them if you know how to do it the right way. Yeah. And as you get older, you can even volunteer to maybe teach Sunday school, pass along the word that someone else gave to you, or maybe vacation Bible school. You can teach, or maybe you could help with crafts, or you could help with the games, or you could be a youth leader. You know, when you're in vacation Bible school and some of those older kids, they take you from one station to the next. Well, you could do something like that, and you're serving the Lord. Or, like me, I help with the crafts, and you know, that's really, really important, because all these little kids that can't tie these little string things, you know, or the important things like picking up the glitter and the beads up off the floor so you don't have to vacuum them up. Yeah, but it all helps. It's still all important work, even if it is something that doesn't seem like it's really something. Or maybe you could help pass out the glue sticks and pick up the glue sticks and find all the caps for the glue sticks. But it's all helping and it's all serving. It's just another way that you too can serve the Lord. Back in the old days, when I was little, we used to go to mission festivals. Each church would have a mission festival, usually in the summertime when it was really hot. And they would have it in the afternoon so that the people could go to their own church in the mornings. And in the afternoon, they would go to Arlington or Cedar Bluffs or North Bend or Wahoo or somewhere. And they would have a special service dedicated just to the missions and trying to collect money for the missions to send our missionaries around the world. And one of the songs they invariably sang was, "Hark the voice of Jesus crying, who will go and work today?" And it goes on, and there was always one line in there that it just always hit me. And it was, "If you cannot speak like angels, if you cannot preach like Paul, you can tell the love of Jesus. You can say, he died for all." And then it goes on, and there was another line, and it says, "You can be like faithful Aaron, holding up the prophet's hands." Serving the Lord, holding up the prophet's hands. Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to all put your arms up in the air like this. Yep, all of you. You and you and you. Yes, okay. Get your hands up like this. No problem, huh? Really, really easy to do. Just put your hands up. Yeah, you're strong. Now turn your hands this way. And then turn them back this way. And put them back like this. Now draw some little circles in the air with your arms, with your hands. Going around one way, and going around the other way. And pretty soon, if you do this, it might take a little while, but you realize your arms are getting heavy. But keep them up there. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we'll see who's the strongest here yet. Okay, now, why am I saying this? Because there was 2 men in the Bible that served the Lord by holding up someone's hands. Now, back when the children of Israel were roaming around in the desert, trying to get from Egypt to the promised land of Canaan, they would come upon people who wanted to fight them and take away their treasures and do whatever else, and so they would have a war. And wars back in those days, they didn't have guns and artillery and all that kind of stuff. It was called hand-to-hand combat, where they had maybe clubs or knives or spears, and they would get out on a big field, kind of like maybe 10 football fields, and both sides would get together and they would just start fighting each other, somewhat like a football game where there's a line of scrimmage where the enemy's on one side and the good guys are on the other side, and they would start stabbing each other and knocking each other down and, you know, of course, trying to kill them and to win the war. And that line where they were fighting would move from one way to the other. As one side was getting the best of the other one, they would push them back. Maybe then, well, they would go the other way. And Moses went up on a mountain. Keep those arms up. Yeah, oh boy. Keep those arms up. Moses went up on a mountain to pray to the Lord for deliverance for his people, and also, you know, so they could win the war. And he got up on the mountain and he prayed to God, please, God, help us. And he raised his arms to heaven. And after a while, they noticed that as long as Moses had his arms up in the air like this, their side was winning, and their line was moving. But when his arms started drooping down like this, the children of Israel would start losing, and the line was going this way and this way and this way, and that wasn't good. And so he had some helpers. Aaron, his older brother, and Joshua. You've probably heard of both of those names before in the Bible. Well, they had Moses kind of sit down on a big stone, and each of the 2 men held his arms up in the air like this. And so as long as he prayed like this, they could win, and they finally won the war by being helpers, just by holding up his hands. Isn't that something? Serving the Lord. You can put your hands down now if you haven't already. Did I win?
Here I am, I'm ready for you, God. I'm ready, won't hold back. I want to serve. Tell me where, I'm needed anywhere. I promise I will go. I want to serve. 'Cause there are people hurting and crying, and I know that I can make a difference with my life, because I'm ready to go now, ready to serve now. Lord, please use me. I give it all, God, all that I have is yours. I'm ready to go now, ready to see you move in my life. I'm stepping out now into this great big world. promise I will go. I want to serve, 'cause there are people hurting and crying, and I know that I can make a difference with my life, because I'm ready to go now, ready to serve now. Lord, please use me. I give it all, God, all that I have is yours. I'm ready to go now, ready to see you move in my life. I'm stepping out now into this great big world. Oh, I'm ready to go now, ready to serve now. Lord, please use me. I give it all, God, all that I have is yours. I'm ready to go now, ready to see you move in my life. I'm stepping out now into this great big world. I'm ready to serve. I'm ready to serve. I'm ready to serve.
I wanted to share this with you. You know the song we've been working on, May the Lord Mighty God? Well, a pastor out in Ohio thought it was a pretty neat melody, and he asked if he could use it with his congregation. And so all summer long, they're going to be using that song, the melody that I wrote, as their at the end of the benediction of their services. And that's the same song that we have been working on. I included just our soundtrack at the very end of this video of how far we had gotten with it before the virus came along, and we never got to actually add the vocals to it yet, but we will once we get back together. But this is just a short snippet of what it sounds like with an actual congregation singing it.